You have to consider this possibility, okay? I said possibility, but it's a real possibility that Melania was introduced to Donald by Jeffrey Epstein. Maybe that's why we have this fierce resistance. So Melania Trump has a new book out that she's promoting with video. And her talk on reproductive rights, she thought was written by NARAL. She was very forceful, very articulate about that. She also was very forceful and very articulate talking about immigration. The stupid press thinks this was all a plot to help Trump with suburban women. I don't think that. I think she hates him. I think she can't stand the ground that he walks on. And I think she's got this piece of barbed wire and is sticking it right up his fat.
Carville didn't just go after Trump. He pulled out receipts, fireworks, and a megaphone. And now everyone's scrambling to figure out what just happened. James Carville didn't just wander into Trump's world. He kicked the door off its hinges, threw his boots on the table, and started laughing at the wallpaper. And when I say wallpaper, I mean Trump's marriage.
So one of the things that we know for sure is Donald John Trump stinks.
The Reagan Cajun has never been known for subtlety. He doesn't do quiet critiques, he doesn't do gentle nudges, and he definitely doesn't do polite tea parties. He does scorched earth takedowns, the kind of verbal napalm that leaves behind smoking ruins and a confused Donald Trump trying to piece together his pride with duct tape. And this time, his target wasn't Trump's policies, his businesses, or even his hair. No, Carville went right for the jugular, the marriage.
I think we have to consider the fact, not the fact, we have to consider the possibility, I want to be very careful with my language here, that Trump is unable to wipe his Yeah, you heard me. It is possible. I think this problem could probably be solved at the AP Physics High School. In other words, he smells like shit. There's any number of people who have reported this to us.
And let's be real here, Trump's marriage has always been this weird, awkward performance art piece. It's like a Broadway play where half the actors forgot their lines, the other half don't want to be there. And the audience keeps asking if this is supposed to be a comedy or a tragedy.
He had red splotches all over his hand. We investigated that. And we concluded it could be something related to venereal disease or clap or whatever you want to call it. And now we're treated to the swollen ankles. When you look at the picture, his ankles are as big as his head. And of course they came with, it's some little minor vein issue he has.
If you're enjoying this video, please make sure to subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon. Meanwhile, Trump struts around pretending it's the happiest love story since Romeo and Juliet, completely ignoring that Juliet seems to be sitting 3 rows back, scrolling Instagram, and refusing to clap. Carville sees this dynamic and doesn't hold back. He treats Trump's marriage like a political metaphor, transactional, fragile, and one bad poll away from collapse.
In the year 2017, Trump's position was a gentleman by the name of Dr. Bornstein, who is unfortunately deceased now. He sent Keith Schiller and 2 goons into Dr. Bornstein's office to confiscate his medical records. Dr. Bornstein said he had felt like he was violated. So there was something in those medical records that they didn't want anybody to know. Why else would you send in goons to confiscate the medical records from your internist? The answer is pretty obvious. There's something in there.
Carville zeroed in on the fact that Melania has been largely absent from Trump's campaign trail. And here's where it gets brutal. Carville frames Melania's absence as a referendum on Trump himself. He basically paints the picture that if your own wife won't show up to support you, why should voters? If the person with the most to gain from your success is treating your campaign like it's jury duty, maybe the rest of America should take the hint.
Maybe why he doesn't want to debate anymore, because maybe he don't want people to get too close to him that they can smell him. I know his wife ain't getting within, like I say, the same zip code as he is. Or maybe he can get Kimberly Guilford to come down to Washington and hang on and be the official presidential ass wiper if he wins. I'm just asking questions here, boys and girls, and I have every bit of confidence that we'll get this passed around and we'll get some elegant and factually correct, because you want to be factually correct here.
And the brilliance of Carville's method is that he doesn't just throw insults, he uses Trump's own reality against him. Melania really is absent. Their public chemistry really is non-existent. The evidence is all there. Carville just stitches it together with a Cajun accent and a wicked grin. By now, the conversation has shifted. What started as a roast about Trump's marriage has become a broader question about his image. Can a man who prides himself on being the alpha, the winner, the guy who has it all, really project strength when his own household looks like a Cold War standoff?
Now we're treated to red splotches on his hand, treated to bloated ankles, and treated to more bullshit and not answers. And we're not asking, the question is, could the source of all of this be contained in his medical records from 8 years ago? I don't know, but we ask questions on here. The problem is there are a lot of questions, there's just no answers forthcoming. And so now we have the blow up of the Jeffrey Epstein stuff.
Meanwhile, Trump tries to power through. He gives speeches, throws rallies, waves at the crowd, all while pretending the giant Melania-shaped hole next to him doesn't exist. And this is where Carville's insult cuts the deepest. Because Trump loves being seen as the ultimate dealmaker, the man who always gets what he wants, who always comes out on top. But if he can't even convince his own wife to play along in public, what kind of dealmaker does that make him?
Oh, please, Melania. And she said, you know what you did to me with Stormy Daniels? Do you know what you've done to me with all your vulgar talk? Do you know what you've done to me the way you pay no attention to a child? Do you have any idea of what I think about you? And then the barbed wire. And she ain't gonna stop. All right? She hates the ground at his. She wouldn't even let him in the car with her and her son as she was leaving her mother's funeral.
Picture it. Trump at a rally trying to project strength, but the crowd's chuckles aren't at his jokes. They're at memes of Melania refusing to hold his hand. No matter what he says, that image lingers. He frames Trump not as the strongman alpha, but as a man whose own household is cracking under pressure. It chips away at the myth of invincibility he's built. If he can't hold his marriage together in the spotlight, how can he hold the country together? That's the implication Carville is hammering home. And it works because Trump's brand is inseparable from his personal life. He's always blurred the lines between family, business, and politics. He parades his children as proof of his success. He uses his marriage as a symbol of status. So when Carville sets fire to that symbol, the flames spread everywhere. Because once the audience starts laughing, the illusion of control is gone. And no amount of gold-plated bravado can drown out the sound of that laughter echoing across the campaign trail.